Hello once again and welcome to my channel, and for today we will be taking on the module 7, and the title of our lesson for today would be Globalization and Media, Creating the Global Village. Now, we will talk here about the media itself and how it impacted the world and the globalization, of course. How did media became a part of the globalization? Now, for me kasi, I'm not just a teacher but also a somehow a practitioner of media when it comes to like this. No, so for me, this would be my privilege to share with you some of my thoughts with regards to media. So let's proceed with the lesson. Okay. So when you say communications media, it is are the institution that specialize in communicating information, images, and values about ourselves and our communities and our society. Typical media institutions in modern societies are print media, which are newspapers and magazines, movies, radio, and television. The messages are communicated by the media in some countries can be political or non-political, religious, or secular and purely entertaining, but in every case, they use symbols to tell us something about ourselves and our environment. Okay, now let's talk about television and violence. Now, television violence can destroy a young child's mind. The effects of this violence can be long-lasting, if not never-ending. For some, television at its worst is an assault on child's mind and insidious influence that upsets moral balance and makes child prone to aggressive behavior as it warps his or her own perception of the real world. Now, let's talk about psychology. If you do know the theory behind Albert Bandura's social learning theory, kung ano man yung nakikita ng bata, gagayahin niya. Let's say, for example, nakapanood siya or fan siya ni Cardo Dalisay. So, anong mangyari? Alam naman natin, si Cardo Dalisay, he's prone to any violence of some sort, kaya hindi namamatay, hindi mamatay-matay. So, ang tendency, gagayahin ng bata, syempre mga action scenes, no? Like, let's say, for example, barilan. So, ang tendency niya is, malay natin, kukuha siya ng, papabili siya ng pellet gun sa nanay niya, and then afterwards, he will run amok sa neighborhood and shoot some kids, some of his fellow playmates, and he said, he will claim himself as the Cardo Dalisay. Parang ganon, di ba? So, ang nangyayari, kung ano man yung nagagaya rin ng bata, nakikita ng bata sa TV, then, nagagaya niya. For example, ito another example, mga kalandian na napapanood ng mga bata sa TV, syempre nagagaya nila, kaya yung iba, what would be the result? Maaga nabubuntis kasi naku-curious, di ba? So, parang ganon. Or, sabihin natin nagkakaroon ng influence sa kanilang utak. So, others see television as unhealthy intrusion into child's learning process, substituting easy pictures for the discipline of reading and concentrating and transforming the young viewers into a hypnotized non-thinker. Okay. Media, power, and its limits. Everything has its own limits. Alam naman natin yan. So, let's talk about limits. A familiar expression in modern societies is information is power. Because media controls such a large and diverse flow of information, they have immense power. Questions about the power of media become especially urgent when one imagines what could happen if control of the media fell into the hands of the groups that oppose the democratic institution. In such a case, could the persuasive power of the media be used to destroy individual and political freedom? So, technological limits. When media institutions are differentiated from political and other institutions, it is actually quite difficult for the powerful individual or groups to manipulate mass audiences. This becomes even more true as changing technologies give people opportunities to choose the type of messages they receive via the media. Cable television offsets the potential for much greater diversity in program content. Viewers can watch everything, no? Viewers, they can watch everything from public affairs, even pornography, no? I could remember one time that there was a survey done by the world's formidable porn site na they said, according to their survey, most of the audiences from that site were Filipinos. Which is not surprising kasi most of the time, they admit that they watch some views like that, no? So, nakakapagtaka rin. And one more thing that surprises me is that they said that most viewers are female. I don't know if that is true. Now, social media such as Facebook, the one that you're using right now while watching this, Twitter, of course, Messenger, yeah, and YouTube, no? So this one and other in the internet also makes possible for a wide range of choices. So the reason why I'm doing this is because it's for me to reach out to you para mas mapadali yung iyong learning process with regards to this subject. Okay, social limits. Another limit on the power of media is the nature of communication itself. Researchers have not found a direct link between persuasive messages and actual behavior. People do not change their cultural values and norms just because the media tells them to do so. Instead, investigators have identified a two-step flow of communication. The messages communicated by the media are evaluated by certain respected individuals who in turn influence the attitude and behavior of others. Okay, when you say mass media, it referred to as mass communication. May be defined as a special kind of social communication characterized by a unique audience, communication, experience, and communicator. The audience is usually large, heterogeneous, and anonymous. The term media comes from the Latin word meaning middle, suggesting that media serves to connect people. No, so kumbaga, the media itself is the one that is connecting with the people. No, mass media occurs as communication technology. First, there was newspapers. Next, the radio. Then, the television. Spreads information on a massive scale. So, yun parang alam ba? Parang chismis. Nagsisimula muna sa isang tao hanggang sa kumalat na kumalat na kumalat. So, parang ganun din yung work ng mass media. No? It spreads on a massive scale. Now, importance of media. Why is media important? So, mass media important because it reflects and create cultural values and interests. So, media attention to the Senate impeachment of former Chief Justice Renato Corona and the ouster of former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno and China's intrusion to the Philippine Sea suggest a deep cultural interest in values for human dignity and territorial area of responsibility. Coverage of the impeachment trial and ouster of the diplomatic protest, if there will be, has a tremendous and such interest is also economic. So, for example, ayan yung impeachment ni former Chief Justice Renato Corona. And then, yung pagtalsik o pagtanggal sa pwesto kay former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. Then, the functions of media. Una, warning, No? A primary function of mass media is the ability to warn of impending danger. Television meteorologists broadcast sightings of hurricanes, tornadoes, storms, and alerts listeners and viewers to take necessary precautions and provide up-to-minute tracking of location of bad weather systems. Without such warnings, there is a possibility for tremendous loss of life and property. The media are also instrumental in warning of citizens of other hazards. Media personalities are always alert to warn the general public of potential dangers of cancer-causing beauty soap, the potential dangers of China-made children's toys, and the health risk taking supplementary drugs, and etc. Now, totoo yan, ano? Sometimes the media would serve as a parang warning, no? Of ng mga impending dangers. For example, right now we are in a, as the Pag-asa would said, we're in rainy season already. But if you look at the weather outside, mukha naman mukha namang maaraw no? Then, not only that, kung sakali man, like for example, nung pumutok yung Bulkang Taal, di ba? So, parang ganon. Then, you have also yung mga, warning about the health hazards. Like for example, baka ilang beses na lang, paulit-ulit na lang, nire-remind tayo ng media na we should practice social distancing, we should practice wearing masks, wash our hands, and put some disinfectants. Every day we now warning tayo niyan about the coronavirus. So we sinasabihan tayo na we should be careful and be disciplined enough, no, para maiwasan natin, ma-prevent natin yung virus. Companionship. Television has produced new category of friend, the media friends. These are people known to viewers who feel a sense of friendship with the performer, newscaster, and the field reporters. People who seem helpless with illness of their children, relatives, and themselves go to seek help from charity, programs of giant television networks. The host will then endorse them to several kinds of kind-hearted individuals who are willing to offer their services in the name of the foundation. There are many media personalities who are doing such favor to the needy, from sickness to legal advice, lab counseling, job placement, and even problems of the OFWs. So, kagaya nito, yung GMA Kapuso Foundation and the ABS-CBN Lingkod Kapamilya Foundation. And not only that, several personalities like, for example, si Kuya Will, kung minsan, di ba? Nagbibigay siya ng tulong sa mga nangangailangan. And also, when it comes to legal advice and some legal matters, nandyan tutulong si Erwin Tulfo para lang ma-solusyonan ng mga problema. Di ba? Diba? Kung baga, yung Rafi Tulfo, hindi si Erwin, si Rafi Tulfo, yun what I mean, si Rafi Tulfo, yung mga ganon. And then, agenda setting. Media also sets cultural agenda for what is important in the international scene. Several media agenda settings occurred for civil disturbances in Libya, Yemen, Egypt, Syria, and Bahrain in 2010 and 2011. So, the New York Twin Tower disasters, the Twin Towers disaster will always be remembered by most Filipinos, as several fellow citizens were part of that tragedy. Okay. I do remember I was first year high school when that happened. No? Nandito ako nun sa bahay, and then just for the weekend lang kasi I was staying in a boarding school, but I have the privilege to go on a weekend dito sa bahay. Then all of a sudden everything felt silent kasi lahat the house itself was tuned in on what's happening in New York. Doon napansin namin, talaga nangyari sa New York, no? Biglang lahat parang the world is in shock, no? The most formidable, the most powerful nation in the world has been under attack. No? And the world watches as those twin towers fell down, no? And collapsed. So the world was felt in shock at that time. Kayo, siguro iba sa inyo, wala pa niyan, no? Or yung iba sa inyo, nandyan na, pero bata pa lang. Then, yung tsunami na naka-apekto sa Indonesia at Thailand are most important events that awakened some audiences, or the audience, how nature takes its wrath over humanity, over this modern civilization. And how could we ever forget yung Yolanda, no? It will always be a part of the Philippine history because of the numbers of lives lost in the strongest typhoon that hits the country. No? Ang Typhoon Yolanda is now one of the strongest typhoon in the country but also in the world. No? The world is watching at that time what is going on in the Philippines during the Typhoon Yolanda. And one more thing, trivia. See this, itong barko na to? This is now displayed in the middle of the, in the plaza somewhere in Samar, kung saan, yun yung place kung saan siya nakalagay ngayon. No? At least yung hull na lang, ito na lang yung natira. Chinap na nila yung ibang parts, ito na lang mismong hull lang natira. No? Then, the shocking death of Heath Ledger, Michael Jackson, and other famous names in Hollywood are considered very important so people understand and view life as precious gift from the Creator. Like, Heath Ledger died of drug overdose. Also, Michael Jackson died of drug overdose. While Chester Bennington of Linkin Park, Robin Williams, Anthony Bourdain died of depression, and of course, Stan Lee died of sickness. So parang ganun, ano? Although marami sa kanila right now either died of depression or sometimes died of drug overdose. Like for example, Amy Winehouse. Mga ganun. Okay. Reality construction. When agenda setting is concerned with emphasizing what is important, reality construction focuses on the interpretation and meaning of the media event. Some broadcasters invite people who are experts in their field when media events are aired. For example, political analysts, sociologists, psychologists, and legal experts, diplomats, and college professors are part of the debate and arguments, and most of them are sharing their knowledge on specific topic raised by newscasters, especially after winning or losing candidate won and failed in the presidential or senatorial elections. For example, Professor Richard Haydarian is a resident analyst, political analyst for the GMA network, and he always talk about the situation that is happening in the Philippines. Then you have surveillance. Surveillance, another function of the mass media, refers to the collection and distribution of information both within and outside the country. The evening television news is an overview of the happenings of the day. News reporters scan the environment for the news events and report them in print over the airwaves. Surveillance may also focus on the particular events such as presidential elections, impeachment trials, graduation ceremony of the PMA cadets, or disasters such as an earthquake or a sea mishaps. Or sometimes, this is what I like about the media, no? Sometimes they were put in the dun sa middle of the battlefield. For example, this one is in Marawi, no? Although they're not exactly on the battlefield, but they are covering what is going on in Marawi, no? Parang ganon. Then socialization and education. Media also involves socialization or transmission of social heritage to the audience. The commentator of the automobile accident at the railroad crossing is providing a socialization experience in how to view death, government agencies, and public responsibilities. Death is tragic. No? Preventable death is more tragic. Government agencies respond to public pressure. It is appropriate to put pressure on government agency. We are not brothers keeper. Okay, propaganda. Ito, marami to. Merton defined propaganda as any and all sets of symbols which are influence in opinion, belief, or action on issues regarded by the community as controversial. He emphasized that the term propaganda in the mind of the public tends to imply a deceit or fraud. Merton observed that the most effective propaganda is not to tell the people how to feel, but to provide them with selective facts and allow them to draw their own conclusion. Facts are easy to understand, have an attention-getting value, and are very easy to spread by word of mouth. So mainstreaming. Mainstreaming refers to a common outlook and set of values that exposure to television tends to cultivate. So when heavy viewers of television are compared to light viewers, their trend to be a commonality of outlook among heavy viewers. Regardless of political orientation, heavy viewers are more likely to be against homosexuality. No, like especially when they see Rosong Padilla now talking about his sex change, appearing on television screen with a new look as ladylike in contrast to his boy next door image during his days as macho actor. Abortion and expressed concern and doubts on the sudden change of Manny Pacquiao as being over-religious and preachy. Then entertainment. Oh, yes. Sinong hindi makakalimot dito, no? So, the entertainment function of the television is the purposeful of development of programming for the sole function of providing entertainment for viewers. Any artistic, cultural, or educational values is secondary. Emphasizing the entertainment aspect of the television, Home Box Office or HBO, which is available through cable TV, has begun a 24-hour all-comedy channel. Televising sporting events such as NBA, Olympics, and World Cup is also a major entertainment feature of television. Like for example, right now, NBA is already preparing for a comeback, no? Para tapusin yung season. Olympics right now is cancelled due to the coronavirus. And World Cup will have just happened several more years ago to go pa. No? But PBA, I don't know if kung magko-continue sila ngayong season. NCAA, of course, with NCAA hanging and UAAP hanging, kasi nga alam naman natin kung ano nangyari ngayon sa ABS-CBN. So both NCAA and UAAP are hanging, and several other sporting events are being broadcast all year, including boxing, and regional games such as SEA Games, which happened a few months ago, and Asian Games. Advertising. So the fundamental economic purpose of mass media is to sell an audience to advertisers who can induce to buy products. The primary target of audience is the affluent, fairly well-educated, and relatively young. In effect, mass media exists for corporations which market their product through the media. But a good thing right now, hindi pa naman paid itong aking mga video, so there is no ads yet. So tuloy-tuloy lang tayo. There's no ads yet, so hindi pa naman siya paid. Sadly, hindi pa naman ako ganun karami ang audience. Okay. Media ethics. First off, we will talk about the accuracy. The bedrock of ethics is accuracy, the reporting of information in context that will allow people to understand and comprehend the truth. Now, when you are reporting, okay, whenever you should be accurate. Why? Because it is always the truth. Excuse me. Objectivity. Objectivity is reporting facts. Take note, reporting facts without bias and prejudice, including deliberate attempts to avoid interpretation. To be fully unbiased is an admirable but unattainable goal. Fair and balance. So fairness and balance means providing equal or nearly equal or coverage of various points of view in a controversy. Fairness and balance often go hand in hand without the accuracy and objectivity. Reporters attempt to investigate the many sides of a story. Truth. Although journalists cannot always ensure that their own story are true, they can make an effort to be truthful and to avoid lying. Integrity of source. A journalist's story is only as good as his or her sources. In 1981, Janet Cook, a 26 years old Washington Post reporter, won a Pulitzer Prize for a front-page article called Jimmy's World. Jimmy was an 8-year-old heroin addict. Soon after receiving the award, Cook confessed that she has concocted the story or ginawa-gawa lang niya. She returned the prize and left the post. Reporters who became too loyal to source raised the possibility of being blinded and missing the important cues of the story. Avoid conflict of interest. Outside business, social and personal activities and contacts can subtly influence the ability of mass media professionals to conduct objective reporting. So here are the ethical problems of global journalists. First, you have deceit. Second, you have conflict of interest. Third is friendship. Fourth is payola. Fifth is freebies. Sixth, checkbook journalism. Seventh, participation in the news. Eighth, advertising pressure. Ninth, invasion of privacy. And 10, withholding information. 11th, plagiarism. And yun na yun. Now, let's talk about music. So kanina we've talked about TV and news. Right now, we will talk about the music. So the impact of urbanization and the development of new genre and philosophies of music continue to be felt today. So the sensational formation of One Direction, who just disbanded several years ago, whose sales in concert reached billions of dollars, erased and surpassed all previous records, even during the time of the Beatles, Bee Gees, Eagles, and ABBA. The worldwide hit of the rapper Psy of South Korea in his Gangnam Style is an evidence of music innovation in form and substance that caters to the worldwide audience, and the rising popularity of K-pop or Korean pop is also from South Korea is phenomenon. Like for example, these two record labels or two entertainment company right now is the two of the most popular entertainment companies in South Korea. You have the JYP Entertainment, which is of course one of their biggest stars is now the Twice, and of course YG Entertainment, which handled naman the Blackpink. Diba? So, ganun lang yun. Then, popular music and expansion. Popular music expansion and transculture. How do I wish I have my friend here today who will discuss with you the importance of music, no, with regards to culture, no, the music and music expansion. Now, She's a former DJ of Wish 1075 and also good friend. Sayang nga lang, kaya I couldn't brought her here online. So, I'll just discuss this one na lang. No? By the way, Boss Jelly, kumusta? Shout out sa'yo. So, audiences today are seeking for the amusement and leisure. The pop music industry produces and package pop music carefully in order to fulfill the consumer's requirement. So the interaction of global pop music breaks down the cultural and economic boundaries. And in other words, globalization provides new opportunities for the pop music industry to expand the world market and gain huge profits. Okay. We often hear the expression music is a universal language. This means that even if two people do not speak each other's language, they can at least appreciate music together. But like so many popular sayings, this one is all only partially true. Now, alam naman natin that the music could bring us together, no? Whatever culture we had, whatever nationality we had, but when it comes to music, we are together. No? Kahit magkaiba man tayo ng we have differences, no? But when it comes to music, pare-pares din tayo. So, that would be all for this lecture series. And thank you for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And I'm gonna see you on chapter module 8. No? So, till next time, and I'll see you all on the next video.